own personal things. So the fact that you felt called to take an hour out of your day to spend it with me is truly an honor. I'm very humbled by it. Um, I hope that I can help everybody today, right? And I hope that I can get to all of you. And my wish is that even if I can't, you're going to leave here with a little bit of spiritual knowledge. You're going to feel a little bit better about who you are and have a clear understanding of why you're here. Show of hands, we can use the chat if you want, or you can just unmute or, feel free. I guarantee that you are here because you're in the ages somewhere between 32 and 42 and on, right? How many of us are in our young 30s? Where are my young 30 somethings, right? And how many of my beautiful souls are over 42, over 50, and we're really in that next chapter. Okay, so yes, me too. I'm 48, which, my gosh, I can't believe I'm going to be 49, but it's a beautiful thing. And growing and aging is actually a privilege and a blessing, right? So we've got to look at it like that. There's many people that wish they were here, right? Or didn't have this opportunity. I know when I started my journey back in 2010, which was one of the very first mass awakenings. How many of you felt like in 2010 something happened, or you might have awakened in 2010? Anybody? Show of hands. Robin, yeah. Josie, okay. And then we had another big one in 2012. And then we had another massive one in 2004. So I know that you have had an awakening because you wouldn't be here if you hadn't. So let's just on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you think you are on your awakening journey? Are you, like one kind of new to 10 being like, this is my third awakening. Like I'm getting my ass kicked. I'm getting beat up over here. Anybody want to share? Stephanie? You could just go ahead and unmute.
I feel like I'm on 10 right now. I'm just like I'm over this. I'm just like what I'm like why did like higher self like what were you thinking?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm just there. I'm at a 10 right now.
Yeah. You know what? You have no one to blame but yourself because you picked these numbers, right? You picked these lessons. And that's the truth is that somewhere between the ages of 32 and 35 and then all the way to 42 will be your first awakening. And in that 7 year stretch, it'll probably be the most difficult and the most challenging because the soul is moving from the physical aspects and there you're really activating the spiritual aspects. And then what happens is that ascension process where you are starting to become aware of higher self, higher soul, your consciousness, things, oh, there's more to this life than just going to work and, going to the gym and coming home. Like, what am I supposed to be doing? How many of you have said, what's my purpose? Like, who am I? Why am I here? What's the legacy I'm leaving, right? And you are on this quest to ascend home. And Dr. Wayne Dyer, if anyone is familiar with his work, if not, please Google, read a book. He's a St. John's alumni, so he's a Queens native. He's no longer with us, but he truly is one of my greatest mentors. I say that he is because I feel like he's still teaching me, from the other side daily. But he has a book called Wish Fulfilled, or you could even watch it on YouTube. And he talks about the U-turn home, how the soul has to build for their physical journey, creating a physical structure that's safe and secure and rooted for them. And then it becomes of service. Okay. Um, it's interesting because I was a school teacher and I always had the gift of gab. I always felt that I just needed to teach. And when I look at my numbers, I am a teaching soul and I am a service soul, but I am also a very spiritual, intuitive. And I just like to think now I'm teaching something different, right? And what I find interesting is no matter how many books you read, no matter how many seminars you go to, no matter how many courses you take, has any one of them said, this is your purpose? Any of them? I mean, maybe they give you clues and insight, right? And you start to put the puzzle pieces together. But what I've noticed is my clients are coming to me because they want me to say, this is your purpose. And I was doing chart after chart after chart, and I still felt like I couldn't zero in on it. Like it was still too broad. But then when I learned this system, that's what blew me away because I can turn to, Amanda and I can be like, this is your purpose. I'm not telling her what her purpose is. I'm revealing the code that she chose. And this is what excites me. Now, the goal here for today is for us to get some clarity on your karma. We all have karma, okay? Karma is not a bad thing. How many of you are afraid of the word karma or putting something out in the world and that means you're going to be like punished, bad lessons, paying back karmic debt? I don't want you to think of it like that. I want you to think of karma as a challenge. I want you to think of karma as your personal pain, your personal struggles, but on the spectrum of energy and the frequency of numbers, you have to go through this karma, experience it on the very lower negative level so that it can be transmuted into the positive. And then that is your gift of service to this world. That is the piece that makes it your purpose. So I'll give you an example. I'm a life path of a one in Western numerology. Ones are strong, independent, original creatives who came here to beat to their own drum, right? I mean, no wonder why. I'm a numerologist. Like, how many people can say they do that, right? Many teachers are ones because when they shut the door, it's their stage and they're here to kind of demonstrate that. They're excellent at taking risk and having courage. Now, in this system, my physical karma is a 5-5, which is pretty rare. Did everybody have a chance to print out their charts? Okay. Does anyone have a 5-5 in physical karma?
I do.
You're right with me, Rochelle.
Physical
I
karma,
do as
five
well.
five.
You too, Josie.
Yes.
Raise your hand if you have 5-5 physical karma. Okay. So it's a rare spot because it's kind of like a tough energy. Um, we will live a life. And Rochelle and Josie, please
I think
like let me know if I'm speaking the truth for you as well. That
I'm
five
trying to mute. I
is,
can't mute. I don't know what I'm
oh,
doing.
it's okay. Okay, it's fine.
Okay, sorry.
So, the 5-5 will have a fear of speaking their truth, a fear of being judged, being criticized. They're very courageous and very strong and very, um, you know, uh, boisterous, but it could come off cocky, it could come off arrogant, like it can be a little conceited at times, but in reality, they're very sensitive. And they have the ability to hear spirit, and their gift is intuition. It's a channel which they almost dismiss it because it comes so easily. And then their gift of service to this world is to speak their truth. Isn't it funny how here I am speaking on making content and videos and like I'm living my truth. So, Josie, would you say that you're 5-5? Does that resonate with you?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so. I get told a lot that I'm coming across as arrogant, and I most definitely do not mean to
We
come
are
across that way
sensitive.
because I just want to help. I'm just trying to be kind, and then it's like, oh, it smacks me in the face. So I've always got to be careful how I come across to certain people. Some people know that's how I am, and some people are like not. So
You know what it is with a 5-5 in the karma? You'll either love us or you'll hate us, and there's nothing in between because we are we wear our emotions. What's that expression? We wear our
your heart
emotions.
on your sleeve.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I want to do today is we're going to focus on the physical karma. Okay. Now I have a presentation, but I don't really want to, I kind of just want to have this really fluid kind of webinar. My goal for you is three things. One, you have a better understanding of what your pain point is. You have a better understanding of what it is supposed to be, and then how you can get there. Okay. I think if we can do that, then we're winning. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and then let me just check the comments. It's very hard for me to see the comments. Oh, exactly 42 this week. Wow. Um, someone else has a 5 in spiritual challenges. Okay, so if you have a question, this is not the Larissa show. This is interactive. If you have a question, you want to stop me, wait, go back. I didn't get that. Put your little hand up in the chat bar. Like, you know how down below you see it says chat, and then you can raise your hand and the little hand will come on the screen. Do you see that? Or where am I wrong? More, let's see. Where does it say raise your hand?
It's in the react. Like, so if you hit react and then you hit the little button, you know, like the heart, it looks like react heart, and then it'll say like raise hand or smiley face or whatnot.
Perfect. Okay, so there you go. Thank you. I see it. So if I see this, if I see like Rochelle has it up, I'll stop. We'll have a conversation and then we'll go from there. I think Rochelle has a question. Hold on, I got to ask it on mute.
So we were just talking about the 5 and in the physical karma, and I don't feel that arrogant, but I just don't feel. I'm definitely different. I'm weird. Like,
You wouldn't think that I'm an arrogant person, right?
I
Because
don't think you're arrogant at all. I love listening to you.
so
Um,
so here's the thing. When I say things, I'm
but I
speaking general because I'm talking, from negative to positive. But
but
here's the
maybe I
thing.
am. I don't know.
When I'm good at something, and I know it to be true, you don't want to win, you don't want to battle with me on that.
Oh,
Because
I got you on
you're
that.
not, I'm not
Yeah.
backing down.
Yeah. No,
Like I'm gonna have the fight and you're gonna lose. Like that's where it's more of like a determination. It's more of
yes.
like
Okay.
I know you can't tell me different.
Well,
If
I
I'm
don't like to
wrong,
fight, but
right.
when I'm done, I'm done. Like, yeah. Okay,
But we'll
sorry.
get into
I
that, and
just
I'm gonna go over all of them. And
okay, sorry. I don't thank you.
you're welcome. I'm giving you the worst to the best. And you got to think this is birth to death. So when you were 15, when you
Oh.
were 25, when you
Mhm,
were, like it's through the years.
mhm,
I always say, and people, know me now. But Larissa at 18 or 20, you didn't want to know me. I was rough. I was aggressive. I was a ball of energy. I didn't know how to get this out. Um, I was a very intense soul and I had a lot of resentment and anger and I had a mouth, right? Remember, the 5 can speak to heal or they can speak to hurt. And again, if you have a 5 somewhere in your chart at one point in your life, those words will either cut or they will soothe and heal and comfort. You will have lived both of it. Because in order for you to get to the position where it's actually a gift of service, you have to know the lower end. You have to have lived it. Does that make sense?
mhm.
Okay, perfect. So let's start off with we're gonna go share my screen. How are we doing? And if you guys have to go to the bathroom or you need to do anything, feel free to do what you got to do. Nope. Let me just get that. Technology is not my thing. Wait a minute. Stop the share. Let's try it again. Share screen. There we go. I gotta move you guys over here. Okay, so I have this beautiful presentation, and it's how to transmute your karma into your gifts of service. Let me get you guys over here. Okay. And question that you're all here, I like to think is, why are you here? Why are you here? Well, every single person that is walking this earth is here for a reason. It is to do something and leave this world better as a result of your energy. Larissa, the soul, will never be Larissa ever again, but this energy will never, ever go away. We have lived many, many lifetimes. It is said that we can reincarnate somewhere between 42, 45, and 79 times. If anybody has a 22-4 in their chart or a 13-4, Depending on where it is in your chart, you are coming towards the end, which will either be like your second, third, or very last incarnation. Does that mean you'll have a short life? Absolutely not. It means that you're truly here to be a service soul and you're here to learn your last lesson before you ascend to do your work from above. Okay. So everyone should have gone to soulcontractreader.com. You're going to get 4 free charts. Have fun with it. Print out your family. You could even do your pets. You could do your married name. You could do a nickname. And just like you get 4. So enjoy that. And let's see. Karma contains your gift, which I think we've spoken about. And it's also about the law of attraction and the law of opposites, which is whatever you put out is going to come back. However, you have to live both ends of it and then find that balance point, that middle point of where you thrive. So you're going to have a life where you have both extremes, but it depends on you, the soul, how intense that karma is, how strong your talents and gifts are, will determine how long you live in that aspect or how long you live in that frequency where maybe it's negative. Okay. Our spiritual talents and our spiritual goals are who we thrive and want to be at the end of our lives. And our physical talents and our physical goals are how we get there. And your soul destiny is the mission. We have teachers here tonight. That's the objective. That's the theme. That's the module. That's the main lesson. Now, have you ever noticed that we tend to turn away from our biggest struggles? Like, I can guarantee that if we opened up the mic and I said, what is your biggest weakness? I can guarantee you that you already know what your biggest weakness is. So why don't we take a second and why don't we write down maybe 3 characteristics of what you think is your weakness, what you think you're struggling with, what you think is a pain point. Okay. And just kind of just write whatever comes to your heart. And then I want you to look in your childhood. Now, God bless our parents and our grandparents and our aunts and uncles. We love them dearly. And they were doing the best that they could with the knowledge and their energy that they had. But everyone has trauma. No child, no matter how good or blessed of a life they have, will be trauma free or have, a wound that they need to heal. And your parents were chosen by you because you knew they would teach you this lesson. And usually the lesson is identified in the karma. A lot of you had a childhood where you were dealing with disempowerment. Maybe you were dealing with, a mother wound where you weren't having your needs met emotionally, or a father wound, or abuse, or neglect, or maybe you even had this severe judgmental parent who constantly criticized you, or toxic relationships that could have been codependent where you were being the parent, right? Like, a lot of us have these wounds. Mine is abandonment. And most people with 5-5 will struggle with abandonment. And that doesn't mean that your parents are bad. It just means you didn't feel safe or you felt like people weren't there for you. It could be your physical parents were removed or left the home for a period of time, or maybe you dealt with bereavement and a loss of a parent. So I want you to see if you can identify what your childhood wound is. Just put down whatever comes to mind, because at the end of this, we're going to see if it matches your karma or if it's somewhere else on your chart. Now, the beauty of this is we are looking through numbers if we can develop what you're really wanting to do is to develop patterns. If we can recognize our patterns, then we can fix it. It's an opportunity for growth. My whole life, people would always say, "Oh, Larissa, you're so confident." But really, I was very insecure. And I just, I lived where everyone thought the opposite of what was going on inside of me. Well, I have 7 sevens throughout my chart. 7 7 will always put up a facade to the world where I will show you what I want to show you, but you're never going to know the inner pain. Anyone have 7 sevens? No? Tanya, does that resonate? Sharon, does that resonate? Yeah? You felt that when I said that, right? You felt that, right? And it's so interesting because now that I look at the numbers of my children, I go, wow, this makes sense. Okay, this is why daughter one is this way and daughter two is this way and my son is this way. And what's so interesting is that my children, and this is, I'm going to be getting certified in level 2, which is the overlays of relationships and patterns within families. And it is fascinating to me that all of my kids have the same numbers in certain aspects. Okay. They have 9 9, which is one of the strongest energies in the entire system. It's dragon energies. Um, and it's like the complete protection from God. Well, wow, I birthed 3 children with 9 9s, but I also know that they're going to live a life of disempowerment where people are going to try to take their power away, or they're going to give it away within their intimate relationships, or they're going to feel like they have no power because they have to learn to yield that power in and then use it for good. How many people have 9 9s? So can somebody with a 9 9, are you willing to just have a conversation maybe about Rosemary? Yeah?
Yeah, I have 2 9 9s, spiritual goals and spiritual karma.
Okay. So when we have a lot of 9s, we could also have a lot of back pain. Do you struggle with back pain?
Yes, I just had an epidural injection yesterday.
Okay. So that is when the power is not flowing through you, that it will sit in the lower back. So I'm gonna talk about how we're gonna manage this, okay? I'm gonna help you get through that. But the 9 9 is the soul is almost like leaking their power away, and giving it away and giving it away when they are the most powerful force. They have to learn that what they went through as a child or teens or young 20s of being disempowered. How were you disempowered? Did you experience disempowerment, Rosemary?
Yeah, I'm the fifth child in a very judgmental family, but I also became a mother at the age of 16.
Wow. Wow.
So I can that all this resonates.
Yeah. So here's what I would do. Does anyone have the book? Did you guys buy the Sacred Contract? So Nicholas, he wrote the book, Your Soul Contract Decoded. It's pretty thick. It's like a Bible. It's very in depth. You can get it on Kindle, but it's better if you get the book so that you can flip through it. So if this is really interesting and you really love this, there's always a couple things we can do. One, you could always have a private session. I'll be happy to do your chart. Or two, you could purchase the book and then try to work through this, over time and really kind of piece it together. So thank you for sharing, Rosemary. Emily, you have a question?
Yeah, so actually 9 9 is my life purpose in the center of the chart. And I've been a person that's always been an overgiver. And I just give and give and give until I physically can't handle it anymore. And that's something I'm starting to learn now is that like I need to stop doing that and actually pour into myself. So when you were talking about being like, it just really hit me hard.
You
Yeah.
know, it's interesting when you have it as a soul destiny, and we'll get into that a little bit too. You really will. your goal is to develop boundaries and healthy relationships. And because you, my dear, could really, really attract narcissists. Like, I know that's a
Yeah.
buzzword, but anyone with 9 9s, you will encounter a true narcissist.
I grew up with a narcissist that was an aunt, and that was abusive emotionally, physically, mentally, and everything too. And it's just like yeah, I,
What is your spiritual karma, your physical karma?
uh, which one is that on the
That's
chart?
the top right on the
Top
top.
right.
Physical.
That one is 7 7.
So the 7 7 hides. They hide their truth. They hide inward. They have many different hats. Like, to this group, I'll present this way. To this group, I'll present this way. They have to become one unit, one front, and we'll get into it. But thank you for
Okay.
sharing. So, okay, so that's
Thank
just,
you.
you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. That was just an example of kind of like, how relatable this is. So what I want everyone to know is that, again, there is nothing outside of you that will ever come into your existence that will say, this is you. Everything that you possess is already within you. Okay. And you are here to decode the secrets of your life and to hopefully turn this into a spiritual U-turn, where I say you're ascending home. Now, do you have to be a psychic or a medium or an intuitive channel? Do you have to open up a business like myself or any other fellow practitioners that are here? No. But you have to bring your spirit out, and purpose is pure positive intention in what you are doing, that it feels good to you, that you're living your truth, and that you're enjoying your life. And when we overcome this karma, we're going to be happier. Our talents are going to get stronger. We're going to feel more aligned, because everyone thinks they're searching for money or this or that. No, they're searching for clarity and alignment and manifesting, which is living your desires. And that's the goal of everything that we're doing here. So here's your Star of David. And we have the physical karma, the spiritual karma, the physical talents, and spiritual goals. Physical goals, spiritual goals, sorry. So what happens here, and let me just get my pen, is again, the first 35 years, we're really heavy into the physical. I wasn't really a great person until I hit 36. I was like, I literally just felt like the whole world revolved around me. And it was like, what did she do to me? Or, very like me. And it wasn't until I was about, 34, 35, 36 did I realize, oh, it's about what I can do for others, how I can serve. So that's where this is going. And the physical triangle is about you building your physical foundation, and then it's transmuted into the spiritual aspects. And then somewhere towards the end, mid 50s, you really start to ignite your destiny. Okay. And that would be the last, like, kind of chapter. But your destiny is always there. How many of you have always known that there's just like some piece of you? Like, okay, let's take out our notebook. I want you to think about when you were 8 years old and you were just this free spirit. Life was, what it was. You were going through what you were going through. There might have been pain, there might have been turmoil, it might have been easy going, but you always felt like, I could see myself doing this. Think back. What was it? Was it a painter? Was it artistic? Was it speaking? Was it music? And it doesn't have to match what you're doing now. Okay. Do you know what that is? Write it down. When I was in fourth grade, I used to daydream. I did not like math class. Sorry, Megan, but I did not like math. And I would daydream. And I know it now. What I experienced was more of like a vision than daydreaming. But I saw myself standing on a stage speaking in front of thousands. And I heard, you will motivate people. I came home from school and times were very different. We didn't have the internet, we didn't have any of this. So it wasn't like I would really know this word. And I told my mom I wanted to be a motivational speaker. Wow, right? and I'm 5'5" all over my chart and dominant. And that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I like to think that I am living my truth now. I like to think I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. But here's the thing. Do I want more? Of course I want more. But that's how you choose to have it manifest and show up. You know, you don't have, I love making TikToks. It's fun for me. Well, now I want to speak on stages. So does it mean that I'm living my destiny if I don't speak on stages? No, it's just what I want to do. You understand what I'm saying? As long as I'm speaking my truth, whether I'm writing, creating, speaking, teaching, serving, writing a book, then I'm living my destiny. Okay, so let's just get this out of here. Any questions so far? Okay, go ahead. Can you, let me see.
Yeah, hi.
What is your, I can't see your name because the thing is blocking it. I'm sorry. Let me
No
move.
worries. It's Kenwell.
Hi,
K-A-N.
Kendall.
Yes.
How
So my
beautiful.
question was, can we like go around in the room and then like everyone can talk about what they wanted to be when they were 8, 92?
We are. We're definitely
Okay.
going to do that. If
Okay,
that's
cool.
okay with everybody. But here's the thing. I want to go over the physical karma first because
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
want to reveal that it's a match. Hopefully, like, you know, obviously it may not work 100%, but it'll be connected somehow. So we are definitely going to share. This is a sharing class.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, but actually before we do that, would anyone like to volunteer for like a mini reading? Yeah. All right. Let's have Megan.
Hi. Hi.
How are you, Megan?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I am so good. So can I share it to everybody how we're connected?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's just do this. I'm going to stop my share for a second. Megan is my son's teacher, but I've never physically met her. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Me too.
She's so sweet. She's like, is it okay if I follow you? Like, I don't want to intrude. I'm like, girl, it's totally fine. Get in here. Like, we're good.
No,
So
you've been the best.
I love it. Okay, so let's go over your chart a little bit.
Yes.
And I'm going to just share my screen. I'm going to pencil everything in so everybody can see it.
Okay.
You know what? Let me do this. I would love to, maybe I should put it in the soul contract. I want to bring it up. How do I bring it up? Hold on. Okay, we can do it this way. All right, what is your physical karma?
12-3.
12-3, the divine feminine. Okay. What is your spiritual
18. Oh, sorry.
8? What is it?
18-9.
18-9. Perfect. What is your physical talent?
10-1.
Got some, all numbers are good, guys. Okay. There's no bad. What's your spiritual talent?
6-6.
Okay. And your spiritual goal, or your physical goal, sorry.
22.
20/2 or 22/4?
Sorry, 20/2.
Okay. And what is your spiritual goal?
13-4.
So we got 2 13/4s. No, oh, sorry, 12/3. Okay. What is your soul destiny?
16-7.
Okay. You're not dominant anything, right? No, you're good.
No.
Perfect. Okay. So this is her chart. Can everybody see it? Yeah. Okay. Where is Megan? Let me get her face because all right. I can't see you, Megan, but I can hear you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So just, you're unmuted. So just feel free like we're having a conversation. So let's start with the 12-3, Meg. This is the number of absorption and expansion. And it's about expanding love into this world. The 12-3 is really kind of this divine, feminine, nurturing, loving energy. And it's here to be a beacon and channel of love. And you are here to take your wisdom and your like intellect and your knowledge and share it in a very loving, relatable way. So what's really interesting is the 12 is absorption and expansion, and the 3 is a powerful, powerful master number. It's a wealth number. Okay. So when you are really in your positive aspects of this karma, Megan, you have the ability to generate a lot of wealth. Now, everyone,
Yes.
Say it again.
I said, yay.
And the way that you're going to do this is your gift is communication. So this 12-3 right here is really about creative communication. Now let me ask you a question, because the 12-3, well, the 12 is expansion. So you're here to take something and expand it out. And the 3 is this beautiful canal. So it's about learning to develop your emotions, and people really feel safe with you. Yes or no?
Yes.
And they talk to you all the time and tell you their problems.
All of my students are always whispering, their secrets in and I'm like, okay, thank you so much. I appreciate the safety, but I don't know if I need to know everything.
Correct. But you could be evolved. Now, here's the thing. As a child, were you someone who was shy or no?
No, I was very outgoing,
Okay.
but only with certain people.
So you were very outgoing, but then you were only with certain people. So was one of the things with you, one of your lessons about developing balance in your life, did you feel like you had extremes?
Absolutely.
Okay. So tell me how that showed up and looked for you.
Well, just in extremes, like I dealt with a parent with addiction. So just the highs and lows of not knowing what to expect when I walked into the doors. And so just always trying to be like a beacon of light. But,
Yeah.
even showing up in that sense sometimes wasn't enough. And so like I felt I took that on as a personal burden. Now that I'm older, I could see it so differently, but I just took it so this is my fault, when I was younger.
It's interesting. So if I was to draw the symbols, right? So let's see if I can do it. I don't know if I can draw it, but we'll try. So the 12 looks like this. Okay. It's taking spiritual energies and like expanding it out into the world. So it comes through you. And it kind of reminds me of like a stomach, where like you're internalizing everything. And then the 3, and we'll go into it with the symbols in a second, is this now. And it's really about tapping into your emotions and communicating it out. And this is the symbol of poverty to wealth. Okay. So what happens here is you will live a life where you feel completely, restricted, poverty, right? You had a roof over your head, you had all these things, but it was misery for you. It was walking on eggshells. It was unsafe. You didn't feel secure, right? So maybe if you were to look back at that trauma, would you say that could be your definition of poverty in that sense? Like you were without that love or that normal parent-child relationship.
No, I have chills. You're hitting it because the words I wrote down were abandonment, neglect, a lack, so totally that to me, I was just a lack of love and it just felt empty.
It felt empty. And what's interesting is that the 12-3 in the physical karma, what happens is they can get stuck in this canal, okay? Because they have this fear of failure. So they need concrete proof that it's going to go perfectly before they go and take that chance. And it can come off as underachieving. Now, I don't think that's what happened to you, because you were able to work through this energy. Now, I'll tell you why. This spiritual talent is all creative abilities. It's kind of like this untapped creative energy where you are here to have focused creativity, but you're like a lot of tabs. There's a lot of things. You're good at a lot of things. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. So you're like a giant computer tab opened. But when focused on something that you want, you are able to express yourself. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So with this, the goal here is to come out of your shell, to no longer be shy, to find balance between hiding themselves and sharing themselves, right? And creating this life between the physical and the spiritual side, and just balancing properly your growth. And you're here to help other people do the same. How does that feel when I say that?
It's spot on. Like the tabs open, it's 1,000%. If I could just focus on one, I think I could grow and then achieve another.
Now, I know that you're a teacher, but are you a learner in that sense? Like this number is very much rooted with forever learning, and that's because of the 12. You have this incessive need to just learn, gather, and grow and keep growing, like keep growing that well, yes or no?
Constantly reading, constantly looking at YouTube videos of just random topics or TikToks, just to exactly that, learn and just have new information.
Yeah. So remember, you have to have balance in all that you do, right? So the 12-3 can be very positive, it can be very negative. It's extremely like I said, you were either very shy or very driven. And here's the thing, you could be shy in one area, but really, really driven in another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's not good either. So you have to have that balance, right? Between, you know, fast and slow. Like I need you in the middle lane, not on
Yeah.
the right, not on the left. I need you in the middle. But somebody with a 12-3 will have a very intense childhood,
Mm-hmm.
is a wound. And what happens is because of that childhood, they are going to feel like it's never enough. They are going to want to achieve goal after goal after goal to prove that they are worthy or that they are good, that, the success says who they are. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go back to the symbol. It's an inside job out. So that's where you have to learn that, okay? How does that feel?
Yeah, a spot on the intense childhood wound. It's like, and just channeling.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, it's interesting because your soul destiny, which is a 16-7. Now, this is a wealth number, okay? The 3. The 7 is a master number. It's somebody with great power, and they're here to take kind of like that 16 is to allow spirit to work through them, to teach people. You are not a service soul, you are a teaching soul, okay? Which
Mm.
beautiful because you're
Yeah.
doing. They have the ability to come across as a very authentic, relatable person, and they can heal people from many different paths. So you are liked by women, men, parents, children. You have this great connection because that 7 is also a communicator, but it's a master communicator.
Mm.
As long as you become one whole person and get out of this, like, I have to be one way with you, I'm shy with you, I'm boisterous with you, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I just need to be me.
You just need to be you. Yes. Now, are you artistic?
I have no creative ability.
No creative abilities. Well, let me hold on a second. I'm going to challenge you on that. Okay.
Well, I don't think I do because I can't draw, but I think my mind could be fun.
Okay. But I'm gonna challenge you on this. How many of you have 6-6 in your chart? Okay. Now, I can look at Stephanie and I can see in her background just the way she's done it. She's got an artistic flair. Okay. But maybe Megan doesn't. Creativity does not mean art, but it means that you are able to solve problems in a unique, creative way. You are able to meet a person where they're at and get them to where they need to go. It's not just about I make scrapbooks or this or that, but actually 6-6 are excellent writers as well, because they're able to use their written word, in a creative way. So, maybe you did great, Meg, with creative writing. Did you?
I do love journaling. So you're so right. I didn't know the vocabulary word for creative. So
Yeah.
thank you for teaching me that. So you're right. I do like to strategize. So I'll give you that.
So now the 16-7, your entire purpose, okay, is to draw people together in groups and to have them open up and share and facilitate a path for them to live their spirit more fully. And that, 12-3 is all about creation, communication, and expression, and sharing the love out in the world, which I think you're doing. So, do you feel like you're living your purpose?
I mean, when you said write down what you were doing at 8 years old, I had a whiteboard and I was teaching math to my Barbies. So I do, but like you said, I'm achieving, I like, I have that desire to achieve more and accomplish more. So I like in that role right now of like, what else is there? What more could I do? But
So,
I do love teaching. And
so wait, oh wait, I lost the numbers now. Damn it. Okay, so go back to your physical karma. Okay.
12-3.
12-3. The reason why it's never going to be enough for you is because as a child, you didn't feel like you were enough with that wound.
Mm-hmm.
And that 12 is always about taking one skill and expanding it out. You are a lifelong learner. You're never going to stop. You are a teacher, but you might teach many, many different things throughout your life. And tell me what your spiritual goal is.
Sorry, 13-4.
Okay. So the 13-4, that's interesting. The 13-4 is divine feminine energy. It's divine love, unconditional love of a mother. I do, Meg, is it fair to ask you, would you like to have a family someday?
Oh, absolutely.
So the third, if anyone has a 4 in their chart, you will you have this need to have children, usually are the greatest teacher of unconditional love, because that 13-4 is the mother wound. So Meg,
Mm-hmm.
you've got the mother wound, but you've also got the physical karma of the 12-3, which is the father wound. And it could be that maybe you didn't feel like your mother stood up for you, or maybe you didn't feel connected with your mother, like she didn't see your pain or whatever it may be. But tell me about that, because that I know right now that your spiritual goal is to be a mother to all, maybe even to children who don't have great mothers. You teach hundreds of kids a year.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody has a great mother, and you are the divine feminine, and your physical talent, which I think is a 10-1. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
That is the perfect balance of the male and female aspects of God. It's God in the manifested form, and you are here to be a beacon of this balanced perfection of divine love. So, tell me how you're feeling, because tell me about can you share about your mother, the mother goal, or?
No, yeah, the mother wound is definitely it, because she was the addict in the house, and it started right when my sister left for college. So I was like, I'm not enough. Like, why was it her? And then my dad, I just was like, why can't you leave and, pick it up? But it all worked out. But spot on with the wounds of the parents. But I love that I'm in the classroom and I get to give that to the children. Like you said, some of them don't have that. So if I can give them that feminine energy of safety, warmth, and growth and encouragement, then I'm happy with that. If I don't, say have my own children per se, because I believe I'm giving that, like you said, to the hundreds of children I do see and will see in the future.
So it's interesting because I do believe, children are our greatest teacher, right? Wasn't
Mm-hmm.
a song, right? They're our greatest teacher. But the thing that's interesting is that you have to love children to be a teacher. Like, you cannot just be a teacher at any level and not like kids. So I want you to think about what they're teaching you. And I want you to think about how they're teaching you to open up your heart, because there's a lesson in there for you through your students. So yes, you're giving to them, but they are giving you something 10 times more. Okay. So I want you to kind of write that. And the other thing that I know this is just a quick mini reading. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
we would be in a call for 90 minutes. We would go more, right? Okay. But I would encourage you, because of that 6-6, to really write your story out. Now, listen, our parents, they have their own healing journey. You are healing through your relationships now. Sometimes you don't have to talk about what you went through, but you can talk about what you learned and how it made you better. And
Mm-hmm.
I would love for you to consider helping or sharing the words of wisdom, maybe in poems or maybe in just this creative writing of what that child who's going through needs to hear. That it's going to be okay. Like 10 years from now, like, you're going to get through this. Don't give up. It's not you. Like, that's where you're going to really do some big, big things.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. I really appreciate all of that because it is resonating everywhere.
And what's your birthday?
June 7th.
June 7th. Of course, she's a teacher. Anyone born on the 7th is a smarty pants. They are the intellects. Anybody else have a 16, 7, 25 in their on their birthday? Anybody born on the 7th? You too? What do you do? I can't see. Say your name again.
Kenwell.
Kenwell. Thank you.
Uh-huh. I'm a mental health therapist. I just graduated. Yeah. Just
Congratulations.
finished my internship.
Congratulations. Very intellectual mind. What's your physical karma?
So I think it's 7/7. Unfortunately.
Okay, so why don't we do this because you brought up a really good thing. Let's all unmute and we can all go around one at a time and we can try to identify our childhood wounds. And then I'm going to go through all the symbols and you see if it matches in your karma. Okay.
Absolutely.
So let's start with Sharon and then we'll go from there.
Just I was an only child up until age 10, and then I have two other brothers, and my brother that is 10 years younger than me, so he would be the first one that was born after I was 10, had a lot of hyperactivity. So once they saw that, it came to fruition. Just so much of their time was spent dealing with that and their own emotions of how, because he was pretty hyper. So in a way, I had a lot of love from my parents, but I had loneliness because of that, I think.
Yeah.
So that would be the one.
What's your physical karma? What number is your physical karma?
6/6.
So the physical karma is blocked creativity, anger, rigid, trapped emotions within the body, lack of focus, and lack of attention. Okay. It is also the symbol, okay, of the convertible knot. And it is, so basically, this is about taking this energy of being incomplete, this anger, this frustration, this like not really being respected or seen, and turning it into this focused creativity where you can turn your dreams into reality as a master creator because you're creative and your gift is to master creation and manifestation, to no longer react what's being done to you, but become the architect of um your your life. How many people are a 6/6 physical karma? Anybody else? Okay, so just you, Sharon. So how does that feel when I say that to you?
Yeah, I think it resonates
Well, good. I'm
for
glad.
me. So yeah, I'm working on. Yeah.
What do you do for a living?
I'm retired.
You're retired.
Yeah.
What did
I
you
was
do?
in office work, so.
So you didn't have, so now can I ask you a question? What are you doing in your retirement?
I'm doing just a lot of learning spiritually, actually, just focusing on that now. And yeah, I was brought up in the church world and kind of, I mean, I believe in God and everything like that, but it's kind of like, I think they're a little too strict, and finding different spirituality is what I'm
Well,
focusing
I
on right
love
now.
the 6 in the sense of like community as well, because the 6 is all about people and bringing people together. So we're going to keep going. So let's see. Thank you, Sharon. Let's go with Catherine. Catherine, what is your childhood wound that you can think of?
See, I had to go back and really about 17 or 18. It's when the parents divorced.
Yeah.
At that point, because it was like until that fell apart, and we didn't realize there was an issue. How's that?
Yeah. So it was almost like you were living a false truth. Like you thought life was one way, but it was very much different. Yes. Like
Yeah,
the
because we were already thinking we would be planning out their 25th anniversary, and poof, it was done at 23. So,
yeah. And how did that make you feel?
um, really, I mean, I know there's, well, I got 2 divorces, so I can tell you it's pretty much, you go through and give it everything you can, and then we're out the door,
Yeah. So you're repeating what you saw, you live it, right? Yeah.
pretty
So,
much.
okay. Thank you. We're gonna keep going and then we'll go through the symbols. Rosemary, what would you say yours is?
Hi, I'm very emotional. I'm a full-blown empath. I cry all the time. Anger and resentment.
Yeah.
And I'm a physical karma, you said? 10
Yeah.
1. 10 1.
So so we'll get into, but the 10-1 is the denial of God, and it's if it's denying their spiritual gifts, it's denying the manifestation of God, not allowing God's power to come in and heal, going it alone kind of. So we'll go into that. Thank you. And Stephanie, what's yours?
Sorry, I forgot to hit mute. As far as wounds, I mean, I had them all. I was just like because I was a 12-3 as far as same with Megan. So everything that you were saying was absolutely correct as far as like it was like nodding my head to every single thing, like the neglect, the abandonment, the parents, like both of them. Like I was very much all by myself. So it was just everything that you said for her was exactly right for me.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. And you, Denise?
For me, it's resentment. I was always told to be quiet. I talked a lot from a young age, and even in school, I would like get up and grade people's papers, and I'm sure my teacher wasn't happy about that. But she told me to shut up and sit down. And from there, it was always speak when you're spoken to, and yeah.
That invisible, children should be seen and not heard.
And not heard.
If I say jump, you should say how high. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad we're not parents like that anymore. Because those were some rough years, right? Thank you. And Tanya, what would you say you felt?
I think anger and resentment. I grew up very judgmental. My mom was very judgmental, critical. Everything that happened was my fault with my younger sibling. And so yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And Josie?
I think mine is probably loss of control. I grew up with 5 sisters and in a home where there was a lot of addiction, but also a lot of physical abuse going on. And so we always had to be ready to leave at the drop of a hat. So as a result, us girls, we're a really strong unit. And so when I don't have that control, it's hard, really hard. And my physical karma is 5-5.
Yeah. I'll share with you in the sense of not feeling safe enough, or like where you felt like you had to hide what was really going on behind closed doors. That's
absolutely.
Yeah. So I get it. Megan, you shared already, right? What did you say if you could wrap it up in one word, but you just said like same thing as Stephanie, right? What was your like wound?
Definitely just abandonment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Robin?
So mine, I feel like came back from having a critical parent and the do as I say, not as I do mentality. And I always felt I didn't like conformity to anything. I liked being unconventional, but it was like, that's not how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to, do as I say, not as I do type of mentality. And my physical karma is a 10-1.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And I recognize your beautiful face from TikTok.
Oh, thank you.
Amanda?
Hi.
Hi.
I think I've had a pretty good childhood, but I don't think my mum was very lacking in the emotional support. And we had a lot of freedom, but then a lot of strictness as well. So it was very conflicting. So I have a lot of I deal with a lot of self-doubt. And yeah, just also very stubborn in what I perceive is the right thing or the right way. Very hard to move. But yeah, just that, and I cry a lot.
Cry a lot.
A lot.
Okay. And thank you. I mean, listen, I cry too, but I don't like to cry. I ugly cry. You know, I'm not a pretty crier. I don't know about anybody else, but thank you for sharing. And Christine, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Wait, really quickly, does anyone have, well, before you share, Chris,
Mhm.
does anybody have like a 1-1 physical karma? I've never seen that. Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, keep going, Chris. Chris, how are you doing? Chris is a
I'm
longtime
good.
client of mine. Chris and we're like two kindred spirits, right? How you doing?
I'm
Good.
good. I'm good. Yeah.
So tell me what's going on, my dear.
I think I was just like looking back, I think I was just always shy and like insecure. And I feel like that kind of leads to self-doubt and like you'll still see it like as a kid and you still see it as an adult. It's like weird that it just never goes
But
away.
you're working through it, aren't you?
Yes, I'm trying my
And
hardest.
how old are you?
I am 45.
Right. So what did I say? You just came out of the worst stretch, right? Which was the
Yeah.
35 to 42. And now this 7 year, if you guys want, you can go back into your lives and do everything in 7 year increments because that's like the power of seven. So from 35 to 42, that's a 7 year stretch. Now it's 42 and do it that way. And you can see where you are in that cycle. Okay. How many cycles you're having. So you're in a good stretch right now. You're switching
Finally.
finally. Okay. So thank you, Chris. And Kawal, now what did you say yours was again? Abandonment?
7-7.
Seven.
So I was kind of misunderstood pretty much. Plus, I had my parents divorced at the age of 7. So
So it's interesting because the 7-7 will feel like they have many faces. And the goal is to merge into one beautiful, authentic self. Because when you become whole and the heart becomes healed and you become one, then you will be very magnetic and you will draw people in and you will facilitate and lead large groups. So, but
yeah,
only that can happen when you become one soul, one voice, living from the heart, healing the heart, and speaking from the heart.
yeah. I
Love that.
honestly, I think I do that a lot. Speaking from the heart. It's
Yeah.
always like speaking from the heart than the brain.
And thank you very much. And Emily?
So for me, I was over emotional and like I was in touch with spirituality when I was young. And then it got like I was raised in a Catholic family, so it was just like it got too weird and people are like, please stop talking about certain things because you're mentally ill, da 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 da. And it's just like feeling not seen or heard a lot
Yeah.
growing up. And like I did have a lot of love at the same time, but I also didn't feel like it matched with what I needed at the time. And my physical karma is a 7-7 as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But now we need you to open up that heart and share all that love that you have inside so that other people can heal. So and we're going to go, the purpose of the 7 is to help heal the hearts of others. So you basically lived a life where you were denied that and your heart was broken. So now it's your time to heal. You have a question?
Yeah, I was actually going to agree with Emily. I wanted to say it, but then I'm like, okay, I'm just oversaying it.
Oh,
But
you're fine.
yeah, spirituality was like one of the things that you were like, oh, what are you talking about? Oh, like how do you see things, or how do you like know ahead of time, or like what's going on? And like that was like, so like I kind of got like, I'm glad she mentioned it. So yeah,
Good.
that was
But
it.
isn't it interesting how when you have the same, it's like Emily's speaking and your eyes are lighting up because it's like because you share that connection. So it's a beautiful thing. It really the numbers don't lie. So, but thank you.
It
And
was
Cheryl,
nice. It was
sorry.
nice to share and connect and
Yeah.
like we're mirroring each other. My
Yeah.
parents got divorced when I was 4. So, yeah.
Yeah. So let's see how it all connects, right? Cheryl, how are you? Oh, wait, you're muted. Hold on. Okay. Can you unmute?
Are we good?
Yeah. There you go.
Me, abandonment. My parents divorced when I was young, and my mother never had anything to do with us ever again after that. And trauma, girl, let me tell you something. I'm a retired 911 dispatch supervisor. There is trauma out the top.
You must have internalized that too.
It's
What's your
hard not to.
what's your karma?
I have a 7-7.
Wow. Right? Wow.
And
Thank you.
I had a question too before we close up tonight. When we're done with this, I also had a question.
Okay, that's fine. And we're gonna spend like the next, I'm gonna take the last 3 and then we'll do the next 20 minutes
Absolutely.
going over the symbols and then we'll do Q&A. So Kimberly, what was yours? Oh, gotta unmute. Hold on.
Mine's a 6-6. Oops. I don't know why my camera's all wacky, so
It's okay.
bear with me. So mine's a 6-6, and unlike the others, I was also with the spiritual thing, but I had it with my mom's side, it was okay, but with my dad's side, it's still too woo-woo. In fact, even to this day, it's still too woo-woo. So you can't talk about it, even though people read tea leaves and whatever way back in the day. So I have like it's kind of like a yin and yang kind of situation with my parents, and they're super, super strict. Like we had 3 hours of TV a week and we had to write it down. So super high expectations and still to the day. Like it's
The
kind of
6
weird.
will experience rigidness. Very, very much rigid life. So yeah.
Extreme rigid life, yes.
So the whole point is for you to create ways to get that out of your body and and learn to kind of let that energy flow through you. So, but we'll get there. Now, Sally.
Okay.
Okay. Are you there, Sally? I think she's just listening. All right, Sally, if you come on, just then we'll share when you go there. Now we have 2 ways we can do. Okay, Sally, you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi,
I'm really,
how are you?
really good. I'm really sick, so I'm not going to share my video.
Oh, poor
What would
Sally.
you say your wound is?
I felt really unsupported as a kid.
Yeah.
So
And what do you feel was it by both parents or one?
I would say by both.
By both. Yeah. And how are you dealing with that now? What's your physical karma?
5-5.
5-5, yeah. So I'll share with you, Sally, in the sense I have 5-5 physical karma, and I've always felt I had abandonment issues as well. There was a period of time where my father was not there, and then he came back, and I just never knew. And I always felt like, well, if I was better, or if I was a good girl, you would have stayed, or I'm not worthy. If my own father could leave, then you'll leave too. Like, what is so special about Larissa that you'll love me forever? Like that, like it was
Aw.
always self-worth. And sorry, so I'm just gonna mute you for a second. What I want everyone to understand is whatever you went through, the trauma, the pain, it all comes down to really kind of 3 things. One, it's self-worth and self-acceptance. It's abandonment, and it's this ability of unworthiness to worthiness. And I think if you're here, it's because you're on the path where this is really truly behind you, and you are now stepping into a path where you are worthy of all the things you desire, regardless of the childhood and trauma and relationships that you have had. Now that you know this, now that you are aware of what your karma is, it's up to you to switch it into the positive aspect. So there's a couple ways we can do this. Now, normally I will start to share the symbols, okay? And there's 22. And we can go through this one by one, or or I can literally sit here and go through each number patterns, but that could actually, that'll be more because we could have doubles and things like that. But what we could do is if I teach you these patterns, I think it might be better because then you can look where they are on your chart and you can make notes on your chart and you can kind of fill out the whole chart, really. That'll make a little bit more sense, yeah? Okay, so we're going to start with the 1. If you have 1 on your chart anywhere, whether that's a 1-1 or a 10-1, the goal here is to go from always searching, always looking for stability, always feeling like the rug is being pulled out from underneath you, that there's no security, there's no structure, there's no stability, always feeling like Humpty Dumpty, fell off the wall being put back together again, picking up the pieces, or you're the one picking up the pieces. You're the one putting everybody back together. And when it's in the positive, it is the strongest number. It is unity. It is strength. It is balance. It is foundation. It is becoming this inner strength so that the outside world is now stronger as a result of you. You become someone's foundation. Okay. Now, this symbol right here, it's sideways, but I have to have that fixed. But this is basically emotional resiliency. This is the 2. So you're going to see this in the 22. You're going to see this in the 11-2, the 2-2. It is all about paternal action and being active. It's a really high, low life, like extremes, like emotional highs, emotional lows, very empathic. If you have this in your chart, you are pretty empathic. And when you are low, you are freaking low. Like that's low, low. So there's these constant swings. So it's unbalanced. But the reason why you're going through these extremes is because you're supposed to gain perspective. And you're here to like a coil, like you bounce back, you bounce back, you bounce back. And every time you go higher and higher and higher. And you are here to be adaptable, relatable, and you are emotionally resilient, which means you take on the emotional pain of others, right? Because you're that cushion for them. People come into your aura, then they grow emotionally from your emotional resiliency. From your life experiences, you're going to help people go through theirs. And then we have the 3, and this is the internal canal, and it's open. And that 3 is wealth. But it's understanding that true wealth is not just one way. It's not just sharing it out. It's taking it in and then letting it out. It's going from unworthiness to worthy. It's total self-acceptance and communicating that with people. It's inner acceptance and then sharing your power and your wealth with the world. So you will experience a lot of financial loss and a lot of emotional loss, especially relationships, narcissistic energy, money lack, like low poverty mindset, because you're supposed to be on the higher end and teach it at some point. Okay. And then when we go to the 4 here, this is beautiful duplication. Okay. That 4 energy is division. So it's one being separated and then it's coming together and reproducing duplication, which is true abundance, right? Because you're not here to just build abundance for yourself. It's supposed to be duplicated out. And what happens is the person with this energy will go from non-trusting to using proper trust with healthy boundaries. They will have very rigid anger, lack, aggression, stinginess, almost like a negative mindset, always waiting, why did she do this? Why didn't this happen for me? Why? Very always, oh, like, when is it my turn kind of thing. And then it goes into proper trust and seeing that you are the architect and you are here to create a system that can be duplicated and you will master what it means to be abundant. And you are supposed to be the bringer of abundance to other people. Now, the fives is the ability to hear spirit, to hear God. Very empathic number. A lot of fives will avoid confrontation, or they are the confrontation. It's kind of like, confrontation is in there somewhere. They're here for the fight. They can also be people pleasers. They have a huge awareness of intuition, but they dismiss it and they don't feel worthy of it. Like it can't be a true gift. Like it can't be real. And you're supposed to use your empathic abilities and your sensitive nature to be a pioneer, to take a firm stance, to believe a certain system or truth, and like this is what it is, like what I said in the beginning, and said, I'm going to speak my truth. You are not going to tell me otherwise. Like I'm taking a stance in this world. That 5-5 has to make their mark on society in some way, shape, or form. And so does the eights, which is, we'll get to that. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. We have the convertible knot, which is very scattered energy, very stubborn, very creative, but ADHD, ADD, they kind of like half-ass everything because they can kind of not see things to fruition. So they'll start something and then they'll move on to the next. And they feel like if they choose one path, then they're going to cut off all the other paths. So they never really commit to anything because they're afraid they're going to like shut everything else off. This can be very blocked energy, incomplete focus, incomplete blocked energy, leaving you angry and frustrated. When it is transformed into the positive, it is very much strategic, very much focused creativity, very practical, very relatable. Very much, this is where you can turn any idea into a reality. This is the number of master manifestation, okay? If you have a 6-6, you should be studying manifestation. You really should be, because you came here to manifest heaven on earth. Now, when we go to up here, we have the sevens. It's the link. It's 3. You see that right there? Let me just move this out of the way for a second. Do you see this symbol here? Yes. Okay. And this is about love and action. It's healing the heart, living from the heart, and sharing of the heart. And that energy is feeling disconnected from people, feeling disconnected from their families, feeling maybe like a loner, feeling like they just don't fit in. They weren't part of the popular group. They weren't part of the nerdy group. They weren't part of the jocks. They just kind of maybe a little bit of a nomad or a wanderer. They felt like they were wearing masks at time, misunderstood, isolated, could be very controlling, could be living a lie, very indecisive. But then when it's healed, you become this one giant force and you are completely magnetic, charismatic, authentic. People will tell you, you are the most authentic person I've ever met in my entire life. Do you know people book me? I have 7-7 in my chart. And they will say, I booked you because you're just so authentic. You're just so real. And if you are sevens, if you have sevens, you are at the point where this is me. You come to a point in your life where you're like, take it or leave it. I'm not hiding anymore. And you are what I would call a decisive community creator and builder. You're here to build a larger community. You are not here to go it alone. You see, there's 3 links. You're not here to walk alone, but at some point in your life, you did. You felt very open. So you're a community builder. Now we go to the 8s. My 8s, my sensitive, sweet 8s. If you have the 8s, this is elementary existence. And it's feeling like you're not one with your body, feeling almost emotionally frozen or overly sensitive, emotionally closed, people might think that you're not very emotional, but you actually are, and that you're here to develop this mind-body connection. This is understanding that God is always within you, and you're to make your presence known and then share your emotions out into the world in a very fluid, natural way. All of my children have eights. And it's very interesting because the one who has the most eights, she struggles sharing what she's feeling, or she feels like people aren't recognizing her emotions. And I'm her mom and I'm trying my best, but yet she still feels this way. Why? Because she's got the eights. And if you have an 8-8 or and a 5-5 combination, you are truly energetically intelligent, like super energetically aware. You can read energy, okay? Without a doubt. Now we go into the energy of the serpent, which is this, excuse me, not the serpent, the dragon energy. This is a life. This is very much about I'm sorry, this is the resistance to power, and this is the protection of God. So this soul will live a life of disempowerment, narcissistic relationships, possible abuse. They will feel that someone is controlling them. It could even be they were bullied in school. They gave their power away. They tried to fit in. People were always above them, or they put people on pedestals. A lot of times, if you have nines in your chart, you can even put teachers and gurus and authors and people like, oh, I can't do this because this is the master. You give people authority when no one should have authority over you. And you are here to take back your power. So your entire existence is learning how to take back your power and not give your power away, so that you can be a catalyst for transformation for other people. And then when we go into this manifestation of God energy, this is all about the potential of God being manifested into form in any way that you want. Okay. However, the soul will deny God. The soul will deny that they are connected to God. They might be overthinkers. They might be very critical, very judgmental, very unbalanced feminine energy, and very unbalanced masculine energy. So they might live, if they're a female, they might be a very masculine dominated female. If they're a male, they might have a very strong feminine energy. And the goal here is to balance that feminine, divine feminine energy and that masculine energy to become a manifestation for spiritual wisdom, and to see that they are 100% protected and connected from God, by God. Now I have this number. This would be the 11 or the 11-2. This is assimilation and form. Probably takes you a long time to learn things. You get frustrated with the learning process because you could become very dependent on other people. A lot of codependency issues. You lack the structure, so you crave structure. And the goal here is to learn something new, create your own structure of truth, and then architect and build and share and create something that you believe to be true out into the world. And then when we go into the 12 energy, this is expansion right here. This is somebody who's going to live an unbalanced life. They will feel a lot of guilt. They will have their hand in many, many different things. And the goal is to narrow it down so you can have this balanced learning experience of growth and expansion over time. You are what I would call a self-proclaimed personal developmental junkie. Like, you love personal development. You're going to go to the Tony Robbins workshop. You're going to Joe Dispenza. You're going to learn how to meditate. You're going to learn how to do yoga, but then you're going to want to become a yoga teacher. Like, but the 12s have to understand that it's slow and steady, because if you get unbalanced, you're missing the point of what you're here to do. Okay, why did I stop? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to stop that. Let's go back. Where did it go? Hold on a second. Oh my goodness, Larissa. Hold on, ladies. Sorry. Okay, perfect. There we go. All right, so now we're going to go over here, and that is going to be number 13. And this is the maternal action passive energy. Okay. This is somebody who has a closed heart. They were denied unconditional love at some point in their life or did not receive it. It is a mother energy because when we think of unconditional love, we think of mothers, but it doesn't mean it that your mother denied you, but usually that's what happens. But it could be anything in the feminine. It could be a grandparent. It could be a sister. It could be a best friend. Maybe you never felt like you had that bestie or you were like the third person in the group of three, you know? This soul craves unconditional love. So what happens is they will build a life where they put these walls up around them where they never really commit to opening up their heart and loving somebody unconditionally. And they're here to develop this great sense of unconditional love within themselves, to heal the feminine wounds, to live in this divine feminine power and love unconditionally without the fear of being wounded. Because it's still, even if you were to get hurt, you still have to use that unconditional love in everything that you do. So that would be the 13. And then we're going to go to the 14, which we really didn't talk about. And this is the number of reflection. It's drama. It's the mirror. So this is where the soul is shadowing what they're experiencing. So they're going to mirror and project, and whatever they get in their relationships, they're going to put right back out. So they will have very intense relationships, also very abusive or controlling or narcissistic, because they're going to reflect what's being done until they learn and trust. And it's all about self-discovery, that they have to reflect what's on the inside out, not what's being shown from outside forces. So they can't get their validation from external pathways. It's from inside. When we go to the 15, which is the circular motion, this is God is within you, or you are within God. This is the circular movement of life going round and round. So this soul will be restless, always feeling like they're chasing their tail, or just, they're not good enough. They're not smart enough. They're not pretty enough. They're always one step behind. Very restless energy, very insecure energy. So they try to attach onto things to help them create their identity. But when they transmute this, they are here to be a very solid force of divine power. They are going to learn through travel and adventure and experiences. So they're not going to learn through the books. They're going to learn through going out there and exploring. This is the person who's going to go to, vacation, but not like a normal vacation. They're doing the walks, and they're going into the towns, and they're learning, and they're taking the classes. So they're here to constantly be in movement. And then when we go into the 16, that 16 is refusal of their spiritual energy. They stop the flow of this spiritual channel, and they rely a lot on their intellect. They almost become like a caged energy, like trapped, like they're trapping this energy within themselves, and they cut the flow of love off. When they open it up, they become this ability to bring spirit into the earth plane, and spirit goes through them, and they are the grounding energy of spirit. And they are able to move past the physical attachment to this very earthly energy and the physical pain and the physical wounds, and they move into the spiritual, and they become a great teacher of spirituality, actually. And then we move into the 18, and you are the mouthpiece of God, which is this energy right here. You came here to speak freely. You came here to speak your truth. You came here to speak for those who don't have a voice and who cannot. You came here to communicate and move the community and the masses through the power of speaking the word of God and letting God come through you. So this is the energy of slavery and mastery, dominion, where you're going to be restricted. Your speech is going to be restricted. But then in the end, you'll have the flow of speech. So the 5 5s, well, the 5s and the 17 are very much all about speaking. And then when we go into this is solution. This is number 18. You are here to have the final say. You are here to gather information and then to make a decision. You are here to sacrifice kind of, your own kind of experience, because you have to let go of making mistakes and being perfect, and you have to stop holding back. And you are here to complete large tasks and projects and be that voice of reason, conflict solution, to bring this energy in and give options for people. You're giving choices for people to better their lives. No, let's keep going. Hold on. Okay, so this is one of my favorite symbols, actually. And at first I don't think I really understood. Oh, I didn't understand it. Okay. But this one, which is number 19, and it's exactly what it looks like. It's this box. And like you're here, like maybe you keep secrets. Maybe you're very serious. Maybe you're easily offended. Like you're taking everything in, you internalize everything. And, here's the thing. You have to learn to take it in and have fun with life, not hold it in, to use your creativity and laughter to share it out and to create this space where your lightheartedness and your wisdom can transform. So it's bringing it in, holding on to it, but then releasing it in a very fun way. It's material existence and forming, which means that you're here to form new ways of being you. I just think this one's fun because it's a very serious energy, but it's supposed to be a very lighthearted energy in the end. Like you're not supposed to do things in a serious way, but yet you do. So I hope that makes sense. And then we go into the 20, which is all things about movement, constantly moving. This is the energy of war and peace. And it feels broken and fractured because the soul will have an inner battle pretty much most of their lives, constantly exploring this inner conflict, or they're surrounded by a lot of personal drama, personal conflict, family conflict. And the goal here is to learn to be flexible and understand that you're not here to fix, solve, or heal the conflict, but you're here to find peaceful resolutions that work for you. So you are an agent of peace. You're here to promote peace. And then when we move into the 21, it's like a marathon. It reminds me of a track and field kind of energy. And this soul is here for the long haul. They're here for the duration because they have the strength and the fortitude and the ability to go the distance. So they're the ones that are going to take things and they're going to run with it. But there's always going to be a struggle because they believe without struggle, without working hard for something, it's not worth it. They want that sweat. They want that pain and struggle to say, I made it. I won. I lasted all of you. I beat you all. And the goal here is to overcome and endure your hardships and then find flow. Okay. And to not battle yourself anymore. You're battling yourself. And when you turn it into the positive, you get into a flow state and there's no more battle, but you're still here for the long haul. And you're that type of person where you're going to help people get through their hardships. So you're here to help them overcome their hardships, but only when you get in your flow. And then when we get to the last sign, which is the 22, this is ugliness to beauty. This is self-destruction and pain and feeling never good enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not whole enough, not tall enough. You know, there's always something wrong with the 22. And the goal here is to understand and define what beauty is, and to see that you are God in a different form. And God does not create anything ugly, that you are beauty and that you are perfection, and that there's never going to be a moment where you say, okay, now I'm worthy of love. Now I can have wealth. You are here to accept your flaws and yet see your imperfections as pure beauty. You are here to teach what beauty is once you understand that you are a manifestation of beauty. So, with that, that was a mouthful. And obviously I could talk and talk and talk and keep going. And I can share so much more about this, but I'm trying to give you guys just a broad perspective of what all these signs and symbols mean. So, again, I keep losing I'm so sorry, guys. Like, I don't know why I'm click happy, but it's not working. Hold on. There we go. Someone share that screen. There we go. I guess now I'd like to ask you guys, what was your greatest takeaway? What questions do you have? Did you learn something new? Did you learn something new about yourself? Did you find the connection to your numbers, Stephanie?
Absolutely. A lot of this explains a lot. And I'm just like, I feel like I need to, and I'm a 12, so which means that I'm going to do a deep dive into this now and start going down to the rabbit hole. But one question that I did have was, I've noticed, especially like in my chart, there is repeating like exactly 12-3 for like the physical and the spiritual talent. So as far as like when you have like repeating numbers like that, or like the exact codes where it's like, 12-3, 12-3, and then even on the top it's reversed, but it's 21-3. Do you find that there's like connections as far as like that, or like how would you?
So that's a great question. So when we're in a reading, we would talk about those connections and how they're showing up. But what I love about the way you're showing it, so usually the talent is going to ignite the goal. Okay. So if we go back to the chart, let's go back to this for a second. And let me just show you guys. So usually here's the karma, right? So that's the pain point. That talent is going to show you how you are going to, like, what you need to do to work through that karma, which then becomes your physical, like your goal in that sense. Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I'm drawing the wrong way. Let me go. So we have physical karma. We have I'm going to move you guys. Stop this thing. So I wish you guys could see what I see. And I put you on the bottom. Okay. So there we go. Okay. So we have the physical karma. Now we have the physical goals and we have the physical talents. Okay. I find it interesting because the physical talent is what will help you, right, in the physical and the physical goal. But what I've noticed also is the spiritual talent is the end, is where you need to be, right? So for example, Stephanie, you said your physical karma is 12-3. What is your spiritual talent?
It's the same. It's 12-3. They're both 12-3s.
They're both 12-3. So what that means is your karma and your talent are you're getting it on both levels. So you have to do it in the physical form and you have to do it in the spiritual form.
Okay.
You can't avoid it. And if you guys have a lot of double numbers, like 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, what that means is really that you don't have a lot of wiggle room. So that number is a little bit more intense. Where if you were a 15-6, you have that 1 and 5. So you have a little bit more of a variety on how you create. Where that 6-6 is like it's very strong. So you don't have a lot of creativity. You don't have a lot of movement in that sense. Did that answer your question, Stephanie? Yeah. And listen, a lot of this goes into level 2, which is the overlay, and it's the relationship between the patterns of numbers and how it plays out in your chart. But what I have noticed just over time and just doing this now for a while is that when we're in the reading and we start to have this conversation and you have 12-3, 12-3, and you have it repeating, and then you have another 3, that 3 becomes dominant. And then what I would say to you, if you were my client and we were having a private conversation, would be, let's talk about what wealth means. Let's talk about what communication means. Where are you not communicating? What are you keeping inside of you? What are you afraid to share to the world? Why are you not generating large amounts of wealth, both in the physical form and in the spiritual form? Okay. So if you have those 3s in the physical, you're here to have physical wealth. But if you also have it in the 3, it's spiritual wealth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. Cheryl,
And
you
then,
have a, go ahead.
sorry, one more just
Yeah.
what was the book that you recommended as far as like for us to like decode? I'm sorry, I forgot the name of
I'm
it.
gonna, yeah, so I'll share. Hold on a second. So Nicholas is the author, and he is, hold on a second. I gotta figure out how to move you guys around. Okay, there we go. So, okay. Okay, so this is not that book, it's this one. Your Soul Contract Decoded, the Spiritual Map of Your Life. And it's by Nicholas. Is David, but his last name is Ning. So just you could look him up on YouTube. You can get it on Amazon. Nicholas David Ning. And he is the author. He was taught this and then took this concept and went into basically, much more depth. And he's also the creator of that website, the Soul Contract Decoder, where you got your charts. So he is the one that I trained with. He's the one that I became certified with. He has a lot of programs. And his website is the Center for Conscious Center, the Center for Conscious Awareness, I believe. I think that's it. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
All right, Cheryl, what was your question? Let me unmute you. How are we all doing, by the way? You guys getting tired?
There we go.
Okay. Hi, Cheryl.
Okay. Hey, you at the very beginning, I briefly caught it. In my spiritual goals is 22-4. You said something about that.
I did, my dear. So if we have a 22-4, raise your hand if you have a 22-4. Oh, Tanya. Wow. Okay. Who else? Anybody? So just Tanya, Cheryl, Emily. All right. Okay. So 22-4. You said spiritual goals?
Yes.
Okay. This is your final carnation of coming on earth. You will then do all your work from ascension from above as a spiritual soul. You have mastered a lot of lessons. It's a privilege to not keep coming back because we want to be in heaven. And you are here to teach. You will teach from complete point of view, not partial one. You must acknowledge the total self of creation and higher consciousness, and you must teach higher consciousness in this last incarnation. So you're here to be a spiritual teacher. Does that make sense to you?
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's what's interesting, and I have to be really careful because there's no proof that it's your final incarnation, right? Like we can't prove this, right? If you could accept this and say, okay, I have lived many, many lifetimes. I have mastered many, many things. I have been rich. I have been poor. I have been a man. I've been a female. I've been abused. I've been an abuser. Like you've been it all. When you can accept this with the 22-4, you say, well, what is it I want to do one last time? It's accepting that you're here to create something that builds a legacy beyond you. That your life, and this kind of goes for everybody, but a 22-4, It's the final show. What do you want your legacy to be? How do you want to make the world a better place? Or what's that one thing you want to learn and master so that when you do ascend, you take that knowledge with you? Because Earth is our school. Okay? Heaven is the assignment, and we live it and we play it out here in the earth plane. Does that make sense, Cheryl?
It does. You know what they call me? I went back to work after I retired a spec early to care for my papa before he passed, and I went back to work because it was necessary. And they call me at work, they call me Mama Wisdom.
Well, that sounds like a beautiful YouTube channel or a book, beautiful book. That should be your brand, Mama Wisdom. Get on TikTok and start sharing. Everyone here should have a TikTok, by the way, just saying. I don't know why you don't. You should. Especially with the ability to make money off of social media. Like, you're all crazy if you're not. Everyone should be doing it. There's enough people out there that will watch your content. And if anyone is wanting to start a creation, you know, you think you're here to create for your family and your friends. You're not. Those are not your clients. Those are not the people you're here to serve. They will come to you eventually. Those people were here to teach you who you are. Now you go and serve beyond those people. You understand? You need to help more. That makes sense. So, Rosemary,
Yes,
thank you. Rosemary, what's your question?
The back pain with the nines, because I have a dominant vibration 9, so I really want to hear what you have to say.
Okay. Anybody with nines, I want you to do any type of research on kidney cleanses and flushing out the kidney and kidney support. And also anything that grounds you into Mother Earth, whether that's grounding mats, acupuncture, Reiki, yoga, Qigong. But actually, I'm looking for it right now. There's actually something I want to share. Okay. Healing and management for the nines. Healing from emotional trauma, mental and physical abuse, kidney cleanses, learn to express their feelings of disempowerment through this healing. They must focus on and study. You can research Osho dynamic meditation, OSHO, and understand that every day they're here to take small steps to get their power back. Practice saying no, establish healthy boundaries. They could even do like pillow beating or anger, like, you know, like anger. Oh God, there's a word for it when you like, they tell you to beat the pillow, like get the anger out.
Anger management.
Thank you. There's also, there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score and Energy Code, right? That's a good one. So it's trapped energy within the body, and you would do well with small group. So whether you're facilitating small group healings, that will heal you faster than going it alone, because we heal when we heal other people.
Interesting.
I'm going to tell you right now, I know you guys think I'm doing something for you, but you have no idea what you're doing for me. My healing really started when I started this path, because what I got from my clients was life-changing. We heal through doing this work. Now, the other thing is learning to surrender to the flow of spirit and understanding that you are completely protected by God, no matter how scary things might seem. AJ, come here for a second.
I was gonna say, he just went walking by.
Say hi. Who's that? Who's this face? Ah!
I have a quiz for her tomorrow.
Yeah, there's a quiz tomorrow. Go study.
Sorry, he's like, enough of her. I'm over her.
Yeah. And now I am not certified in this, but I believe in everything Nicholas does. He also has trained and teaches something called divine healing and light body integration work. So if you are on, you want to try another form of therapy or another type of reading, I would suggest that if you have the 9s or the 8s as well. It goes for anybody, but that's also what he does. So did that answer your question? Robin, did that answer your question? Who? Yeah? Did you ask it?
It was me. It was
Yeah.
me. Thank
It
you.
wasn't me.
Oh, sorry, Rosemary. I'm looking. You're down here. I'm like, wait, she was just up
Yeah,
there. But
no, I made all kinds of notes. Thank you so much.
that was good. Okay. So Robin, while you unmuted, let's go to your question since you unmuted.
Gotcha. Yeah, and it's funny because you actually said my name, like the last question was mine, and I was writing a bunch about the 9 down too, because I'm still dusting yeah 9. But my
Okay.
question was actually on the 10-1, because somebody else had mentioned wanting some details on like the 10-1.
So do you have a specific question or just more information?
More information. So like I'm a 10-1 for both my physical and spiritual karma. What I found was interesting, because I know you mentioned that's like, spiritual wisdom and things of that nature, and like denial. I think you said denial of God, which is interesting because my parents never gave me a religion. They always said they were going to allow me to pick it. And I've gone through so many things, and I'm definitely a very spiritual person. I've been since I was a kid. So now
Let
I'm
me
trying
change
to
that word.
relate to
Okay, so it could be denial of God, but it's also a disconnection at some point.
Okay.
Okay. So I want you to understand that the 10-1 is manifestation of God in the physical form, and that you are spirit on earth. That's it. You are spirit on earth, and you are here to capture the spirit of God and then move it forward in a manifested form. It's a very spiritual number. Now, I want you to study the positive aspects of the Virgo, because this is all Virgo energy. Very positive, very analytical, very meticulous, but also critical, also a perfectionist, can be very mental, and you've got to get it out into the body. So what I want to say about the denial of God and spirituality is this insecure energy where you don't feel you are worthy or strong enough to be a spiritual wisdom healer creator. This is the number of spiritual, like healing channel. Like you could literally lay hands on people. Like that's letting that spirit come through you to heal. Spirit is here testing you to make sure that you have a very strong mind, that you must build a strong mind before the true power of the 10-1 flows through you. You are here to use this power with great responsibility to help, serve, and heal other people. The reason why it will take you longer is because if misused, it will become an abuse of power and a misuse of spiritual power, or a complete not use your spiritual gifts at all, which is a misuse of power. How does that resonate when I say that?
100%, because I believe I can do something spiritually, but I'm afraid that I'll hurt people in the process.
Yeah. So this is trusting in God, and also because you have those 9s, we've got to trust in God. Here's the thing. You don't really have a physical goal, okay? So a lot of times, right? And how many people can resonate? Just shake your head. You would rather be told, do this, do this, do this, do this. Like step 1, step 2, step 3. Right? Okay, right. But the problem with this is where you are a creator, and you are here to take this information and turn it into something new. This is the highest godlike energy, 10-1. You'll do very well with numerology, astrology, any form of system of divination, but it's only a crutch, because then once you get comfortable, you're the channel. You're the channel of God. Does that make sense?
Absolutely it does, because it's like I've gone through like, being heavily into crystals or getting into tarot or getting into oracle, and then here probably about a year and a half ago I realized that it was just a tool. It was a permission slip, as like Bashar says it. And then I was just like, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? And it just feels like I don't know what it is. It's tough.
You have free reign, which is also tough. So this is what I'll say to anybody. Bashar teaches, how many of you know who Bashar is? Abraham Hicks?
Love.
Right? Okay, Neville Goddard? That's another one. Amazing. The question is, what's my purpose? And then I'm going to take Emily, and we're going to wrap up the last 2 questions because I haven't eaten. I'm hungry. So, but Bashar teaches that there's a formula, and you are here to follow the path of joy and what excites you the most. It will change. You're not going to be the same. Like, how old are you, Robin?
45.
Okay. Were you this way at 25?
No.
Okay. So why would we think there's ever going to be one thing that we're supposed to do for the rest of our lives? It's what interests you now. I have been into numerology since I was 16 years old because my great aunt taught me this. I am Reiki certified on 2 levels. Okay. I am an Oracle certifier. I healed, I laid hands. I'm learning this form of numerology. I'm always going to be doing something that excites me now. And maybe in 5 years, I'll be doing something totally different. But I am speaking my truth and I am being true to what excites me. That's why it's working. It's really not about you guys. It's about what fills my cup up, what makes me happy. If you build it, they will come. And you have to stop being afraid to commit to one thing and stop because you're so afraid you're going to not serve everybody. You're not here to serve everybody. You're here to serve your people. So the second I said I'm into numerology, everybody who loved astrology and hated numerology walked away. Or people who were like, numerology's BS, they shut me off. Great. They made room for the people who wanted it. And almost 1 million people have said yes to this. If I can do it, you can do it. It's just that simple. Okay, that's my little pep talk. Emily, what's your question?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have 2. So for the 22-4, I have that in the spiritual talents, and I was interested on how is that different than spiritual goals, like the goals and talents.
Okay, so here's the thing. The number has full spectrum. So when I do the 20 or any number, I'm going to talk about the karma, the talents, the goals on all levels. But
Okay.
when it's in a specific specific area, that's the main theme. So you said spiritual goals, yes?
Spiritual talents is
Okay.
what the 22-4 is for me.
Okay. So you have this unconscious ability. You know that you have a deep connection to higher consciousness. You know you have the ability to pull, the physical, the spiritual, and make it very relatable. These 3 pieces of yourself, put it together and express it and share it very quickly, very easily. You are here to be a multi-dimensional soul, pull in all these multi-dimensional states and act as one energy of spirit to create success. Does that resonate?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you are here to access all your capabilities within you. There is not one path to the 22-4. You are multidimensional. So you could see auras, you could read auras, you can feel energy, you could hear spirit. You're all the things. It's a matter of choosing. It's the number of completion. But none of this will happen with a 22-4 until they stop denying their own value and worth. They won't be able to reproduce anything. They have to really, really accept themselves as this multi-dimensional chameleon, multifaceted, always changing, ever-growing soul. You're the highest number in the system. And it's a very hard vibration to take on because all numbers live within you in the sense that all numbers lead to 22-4. At some point, we're all going to have a 22-4 when it's our final. That makes sense?
That makes sense.
Your question?
And then my other question was, I've noticed that I have like 3 5s and 3 4s. So is there a significance when there's like 3 of the same number?
So it
Or
just,
no?
well, whenever there's double or repeating numbers, the lesson is going to be more intense, but we only really
Okay.
focus on when there's 4s. So there's got to be 4 of the same number for it to
4 of
take
the same.
additional aspect. So for example, everybody has 6 aspects plus the destiny. If you have 4, you have 7 aspects plus the destiny. So you have an extra lesson. You're like an overachiever.
Okay.
You said your 22-4 was in the talent, right? Well,
Yes.
here's the problem that I'm feeling is that you are super, it's a problem, but it's a good problem to have. You're really smart, like super, super intelligent and almost like too smart for your own good. Because you're such an achiever, it will put you in the underachieving, which means you're afraid because you only have these high expectations for yourself. Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm my worst critic, and it's just like I'm overanalyze everything, and I'm just like I put myself like I'm easy to forgive other people, but when it's myself, I'm just like I'm a dictator with myself, and I'm like,
So
yeah,
look at this as the part, instead of looking at achieving, look at this as a beautiful creation. You're not here to achieve, you're here to create. Okay. And I hope this was helpful, guys. Do you feel satisfied? I'm going to stop everyone's
yeah,
questions now because, it's 9 o'clock. I said I would not go past 2 hours because then we start to get pins and needles and all that stuff. And I just, listen, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was beautiful. I hope you learned something. I hope that you were able to, get value out of this. I do want to say that I feel like you're gonna get an email with the video. You're going to get uh there's going to be a discount on readings that will be in that email if you choose to do that. If you choose to have a private, wonderful. Like I said, I'm not going anywhere. Okay, I'm here for the long haul. When you're ready, I'm ready. And I will never, you're so welcome. This is not about me reading you. This is about you receiving this information when you're ready. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you for spending 2 hours with me. And you know what? Listen, when you get that email, if you want to give me any feedback or say, Larissa, I like this best, or I wish we could have done more of this, or you want to share your favorite parts, that'll help me and that'll help me for future webinars because this actually makes me nervous. And I know, right? Webinars scare the crap out of me and I'm overcoming my fears. So I think I'm trying to do a good job. So I can't wait to the next one. Okay, guys, with that, remember you can be, do, or have anything. I love you. Go be fabulous. And thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.